They have a good show.
Thank you.
Go, go, Godzilla.
Yeah!
There goes Tokyo. Go,
All
go,
right.
Godzilla.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to our very fun episode of the Horror Syndicate Live. We have a great show for you tonight. Our main topics tonight are dedicated to Godzilla and, of course, Nazi zombie films. So we're going to get into that all a little bit later. But as for right now, my name is Brian Enright. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at Brian Enright, or my alias, The Horror Jew. You can see that right there in green. Up next, we have Baron Craze, and Baron was very thankful, to have the Godzilla cover playing for you tonight to dedicate to our show tonight. Baron, what's the name of the band we got there?
The band's name is Dire Peril. It's the Godzilla track cover, originally done by Blue Oyster Cult. So the band, hey, thanks for letting us have the permission to play it. And as for me, guys, you can stalk me over on Twitter under Baron_Craze, or continue that stalking on Facebook under Baron Craze and the Baron's Crypt.
All right. Thank you very much, Baron. Up next, we have Jared Letourneau. Jared, good evening.
Good evening, Brian, and boils and ghouls at home. You guys can follow me on my Facebook at Jared Letourneau, or if you are wandering around the Twitter realm, at zombie_survivor.
All right. Thank you very much, Jared. Baron, again, introduce yourself and the cover of the song and of the artist that performed the cover of Godzilla by Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, the band again is Dire Peril. It's a cover of the Blue Oyster Cult's Godzilla track. It's a really cool version of it. And again, you can stalk me once again, if you want to, over on Twitter world under Baron_Craze. And of course, continue the stalking, as I do enjoy it, over on Facebook under Baron Craze or the Baron's Crypt.
All right. Thank you very much, Baron. So we had to introduce you again. We had some volume failure over on the Facebook feed, but if you're live with us on YouTube, you were able to hear that twice. So congratulations.
Man always likes
You lucky bastards.
That's right. It's a sick fuck bastard. Get it straight.
That's right.
And speaking of lucky bastards, joining us after a 3-week hiatus, fighting gorillas in the Bahamas, we have Uncle Rayzilla. Uncle Rayzilla, good evening.
You weren't supposed to tell people that, Brian. You weren't supposed to tell people that. But yes, kids, that's right. It's me. It's your old Uncle Rayzilla coming to you with the backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government. I'm coming to you from my secret lair, located somewhere off exit 18 Eve, the New Jersey Turnpike. If you would like to look at my stupid Facebook page, there's the name below. Yes, that's it right there. Ray Canella, 2 N's, 2 L's, 1 gun. You can go there, or you can follow me on Twitter, because that's where the party is.
Yippee!
At Rayzilla NJ. Back to you, Brian.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Up next, before we get into our segments, we have a couple of reviews brought to you by Baron Craze himself and our very own Jared Letourneau, where they cover movies that are streaming or, maybe somewhere in a back alleyway on the black market. Speaking of which, Baron Craze has his DOA review. Baron, what did you get for us this week?
Oh, shit. Well, this time we've tracked down a film called Real Horror, and that's actually REEL, Horror, from 1985. If you never heard of it, don't worry. It was a piece of shit then and it still is today. It is a 1.7 out of 10. The director has since now died, so I says what happened in his life.
So feel free to talk shit about him, Baron.
Why not? I did one other horror film called Born in '88. He didn't really have a great horror film career, and this movie is a pile of shit. Those familiar with, say, Terror in the Isles or films like that where they discuss horror films and such, those films are high superior art compared to this shit bowl. I mean, yes, we got it. Yes, you have Donald Pleasance in it. You do have a few other people. Tyler Shears in it. John Carradine. But these are little archive clips. We see we have a film here that basically someone is at a theater being plagued by horror movies that are coming to life. And we're going to have an exorcism occur with a woman who seems to wear some sort of an eye patch that always seems to change in which eye she has it on when she's doing the film. First it's the right eye, then it's the left eye, then it's the right eye, then it's no eyes. I mean, come on, it's all messed up. The film doesn't make any sense. The clips don't make any sense. Audio sucks. The visuals are horrible. This is a movie that if you didn't know about it, you don't have to worry about it. And if you did a lot of coke during the 80s, where many did, you really don't have to worry about this film because it didn't mean anything to anybody. We found it. It is actually on YouTube, and the review is going up either tonight or tomorrow, so you guys can read that and avoid this piece of shit. And as for those who are curious what's coming up next, well, gee, we just found either Search for the Beast from 1997, one of a I don't know. I think it's about Bigfoot, Yeti, or whatever the hell else is out there scratching his ass going, I don't know why the hell there's a movie about it, but there's not even a box office, cover art for it. There's no box. It's just somebody shoved it on a damn DVD. Or it's going to be going up against, believe it or not. We found a copy of this. Sleepaway Camp for the Survivor from 2012, which has got a 1.7 rating to that. Dude.
Ooh, that's heartburn right there.
Talking about a film, folks, that's just completely worthless in every shape, way, and form. I have no clue what the movie's about. We've been able to locate it. But, hey, check this out. Sleepaway Camp 4 is only 70 minutes long. So, hey, I have mental anguish to go through versus the other film at an hour and 22 minutes. Gee, both fucking losers, and I'll watch them both so you don't have to.
Oh my God.
Back to you, Brian.
Unfortunately,
as always, Aaron. Outstanding as always. And remember, kids,
what's the matter, Brian?
Kids, send your prescriptions to the Baron.
I need them.
Go into mommy and daddy's bedroom. You find that little blue slip of paper, and mail it to the Baron.
Yes.
Care of Murray Hill Station, 40409.
Thank you, and all the alcohol I can use too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was one of the unlucky ones to see the Last Survivor Sleepaway Camp 4. I did own it on DVD. Someone snuck it in my Sleepaway Camp DVD, and I was I had to watch it, and I watched it, and basically what happened was the movie was a failure while filming. And they never finished filming. And what happened was it wasn't until 2012 when they had all this footage of this girl just getting naked. It was just a girl and a guy. The guy was a sheriff, and he just was like following her or whatever. And the girl kept getting naked. And then she would run away, and she would look like she was watching all these murders take place. And the murders were actually clips of scenes from the Sleepaway Camp trilogy, the original trilogy. And they would splice all the original trilogy together with this really bad made-for-TV Hallmark bootleg of a fucking concentration camp film, and they would just put it together, and then they sold it as a 70-minute video. It's fucking awful. I hope none of you have to go through with that. So Baron, I'm so happy that you got to mention this video. I think it needs to be mentioned once every 20 years. And thank you for that.
And again, it's going up against the Bigfoot movie, so who knows who the fuck's going to win out in that battle, which one I'll watch all the way through to finish it out, so people don't have to spoil their eyesight and melt their brains on this shit.
Kind of like a cicada. Kind of like a cicada comes every 20 years.
This autopsy that I'll be doing next is going to be for real horror is number 23 on a list of this is not an incredible number, over 2,000 fucking turkey shit movies. Over that number. Yes, it's that many bad movies out there.
Why, Baron? Why?
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 Because some
Why
people
do it?
want 15 minutes of fucking fame, and the other people just going, "Hey, let's make a movie because it sounds like a neat thing to do while we're all high or drunk." And I think people who are high and drunk could actually make a better movie than some of the shit that I have located out there. I swear probably people to Columbus Hall out there, Ray Zilla, could have done a better fucking job than this shit that I'm watching.
They have and they
Get
can.
up with the fucking shit. It's beneath the barrel of fucking toxic waste out there.
Hey, you know what, Baron? You got me interested. I actually pulled up a trailer of The Incredible Bulk, and I think that there is an actual movie worse than The Room and Samurai Cop. So I think The Incredible Bulk has
not
taken.
The Incredible. It's known as The Amazing Bulk, Brian.
Yeah, The Amazing Bulk. He's
sorry.
purple, right?
Yeah,
purple. He changes.
I'm sorry. The Incredible Bulk is the porno directed by Wang Lee. Okay, I'm sorry about that.
I know that you really got into that one.
All right, so there's the Amazing Bulk and the Incredible Bulk. Which one is the porno, Brian?
The Incredible Bulk, directed by
Bulk
Wang Lee.
Is by Wang Lee. Nice.
The Amazing Bulk is this really awful movie.
It was submitted to me when I was a buyer at Sci-Fi. Somebody submitted that to me.
Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, I had to watch it. Yeah. I watched a little bit of it, and then I moved. I gonged it and moved on.
Jared, you need to watch the trailer for The Amazing Bulk.
The Amazing Bulk. I will right after this podcast.
Oh my! Oh, by the way, I love your.
Do
shirt.
not walk.
I love your shirt. That is Monster Squad 101 representing. Fucking love it. Stephen King rules.
Except not last weekend at the box office.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah, Dark Tower didn't open too well.
Was that because they didn't follow the books? Or
I don't think they promoted it all that much, to be honest. I didn't see a whole lot of P&A behind it. But then again, it's such a crowded field.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard that it was like I heard the movie was a continuation of the books. Like you don't have to read the books to know what's going on because they explain to you in the movie. But you know, not every Stephen King movie is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it, though. I think that's going to be one hell of a fucking time.
I hope so.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't a fan of the book, so
Naked Dance Party. But you know, on a brighter side of the bottom of the barrel, where Baron finds most of his movies that you know I'll come in every now and then and check out trailers for. Jared brings us better movies. Well,
oh yes, anything would be better. Save us, Jared! Save us!
So Jared has his weekly review, and Jared, tell us what it's all about.
Well, I created Bloody Streaming Roulette one night when I was kind of tipsy trying to find something to watch on Netflix.
Whee!
Yeah. We're all, you know, everybody's been in that position before. You don't know what the fuck you want to watch, and you overthink everything. And you're like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch this.
You don't want to watch anything on DOA?
Yeah. So I just decided to say fuck it and just pick something and watch it. And that's kind of where I got the idea. It's kind of a Russian roulette style game. Like it or love it. Leave it and hate it. One or the other. But this week I landed on something new to Netflix. It's from 2015. So I don't know if it had some kind of post-production issues. It's called The Devil's Candy. A struggling painter is possessed by satanic forces after he and his young family move into their dream home in this creepy haunted house tale. Surprisingly, it's rated 6.5 out of 10 on IMDb, so not knowing anything about it, it seems to be liked by somebody. It stars Ethan Embry from Empire Records and that dreadful Vegas Vacation.
God.
I think God has left here a long time ago.
Yeah.
Probably after watching that movie.
But if you guys are interested to see my verdict, whether or not it's a winner or a loser, check the website out this weekend. The Devil's Candy. Pretty sure it got a Blu-ray release recently, so if it's from 2015, there must have been some kind of production issues towards the end there.
You sure it's not about cocaine?
Hmm.
No, I'm sorry, that's
That's
the
a good
devil's
question.
dandruff. That's right. I'm sorry.
Nice. That's all I got.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Jared, for another bloody streaming roulette. So yeah, as we get into our the rest of the night, talking about our other topics, just want everyone to know that I think you're all special. Okay, so let's get into it.
We think you're
Moving
special
on.
too, Brian. And not special in a bad way. Special like because we love you.
Thank you. That's right. We do love you. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching us every week. This is dedicated.
And that's our show, folks. Thank you. Good night. We love you. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. My name's Brian. I'm everything. Now I'm kidding. But we're gonna get into our one of our main topics tonight. This is close to Ray Zilla's heart. I know it's close to a lot of the fans out there. We just lost Hiro Nakajima, who was the original Godzilla in 1954. And, of course, I assume that he was in a few of the sequels as well. Maybe not a few, maybe a lot of the sequels. But
yes, he played Godzilla from the original film up until 1972.
Got ya. So that's a pretty long time, and we want to dedicate first part of our Horror Syndicate to the life of the original Godzilla. Yeah. So Ray Zilla, take it away.
Oh, thank you. Well, yes. Sadly, the other day we lost Hiro Nakajima. He died at 88 years old, and he was the man chosen to play Godzilla in the original Gojira of 1954. He was originally a stunt man, an extra, a little bit more than an extra for Toho Studios. He actually he could be seen riding a horse and sword fighting in Akira Kurosawa's The Seven Samurai. So he was, he was a working performer. He was a working actor, and Ashiro Honda was getting ready to create the original Gojira, and he needed somebody to act in the suit. And he had seen some of the stunt work done by Mr. Nakajima, and he was hired to play Godzilla. And there was really no precedent. There was nothing that really came before this whole new genre of that is now referred to as kaiju. Giant monster.
What you call me?
That's right. We'll take this outside later, young man.
Spoiler alert: Brian's Jewish.
Don't get me started. But kaiju. What? I got dark quick, right? Just, come on, Brian.
It's I feel so offended with that word.
Really?
Oh, that's why your radar went up. I didn't get it at first. Okay. No. We love you. We love you, Brian. That's our show. Good night. And kaiju is the term given, I believe, to this genre, this giant monster genre. But of course, the term, I don't know. I don't believe the term existed until Godzilla or Gojira was created. And now we talk about here in the 21st century. We talk about movie franchises, or we talk about cinematic universes, and when you think about it, Godzilla is quite possibly the original and still relevant some 60 years later, over 60 years later. Godzilla is still being referenced, and Godzilla films are still being made, and that's a testament to the longevity of the concept of the idea and what Godzilla represents. Because in each film, or at least in sections of the films, Godzilla represents something different. But as far as the life of Mr. Nakajima, not only did he play Godzilla, but if any of you kaiju fans, hardcore kaiju fans out there, have ever seen one of my personal favorites, King Kong Escapes, he played Kong in that film, and that is quite possibly one of the worst Kong costumes, if not one of the worst gorilla costumes ever captured on celluloid. So
Did he have nipple
Yeah,
piercings?
I would agree.
now, I actually made my mother. I dragged my poor mother to the theater to see King Kong Escapes when I was really, really, really little as a kid.
Come on, Mom, it's King
she
Kong.
sat
Come on,
through,
Mom.
and I'll never forget because the villain's name was actually Doctor Who. Was the villain's name in the film. But anyway, so you hardcore kaiju fans, if you've ever seen King Kong Escapes, another personal favorite of mine, War of the Gargantuans. He played one of the two. There was the brown Gargantuan and the green Gargantuan. He was also in Frankenstein Conquers the World. So there's more than just Godzilla in Mr. Nakajima's resume, and I had the pleasure of meeting him. I attended G-Con a number of years ago. I'm still a member of G-Force. I'm still a member of G-Fan. I carry my card. I believe that world peace can be achieved through Godzilla, and I also, basically everything I learned in life, I learned from watching Godzilla. So yes, this subject is very, 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 very important to me. And so when I heard that G-Con was happening at the famed Pennsylvania Hotel in Manhattan, I schlepped my carcass over there. And it was just absolutely fantastic. He was one of about 3 or 4 kaiju performers that were appearing, and he was considered like the Elvis of all. He was like of all the kaiju performers. I mean, big rounds of applause, and everybody needed interpreters. Nobody spoke English, but still there was a lot of respect and reverence for Mr. Nakajima. And so I scored an awesome autograph, which I think Brian may have up on the Facebook page. I'm not looking at the Facebook page.
Oh yeah, it's up. I have it up right now.
That's an autograph from my collection. But I also got this really, really, really awesome Destroy All Monsters promo poster signed by Mr. Nakajima as well. And I've been meaning to get this baby autographed. Framed. But there's actually a synopsis of the film on the other side. It's a promotional poster. It was something that that came with the film when television stations would order the movie. The film company would include, part of the deal of buying a movie is that you get all of the access to the slides and to the artwork and to the synopsis. It's all part of the acquisition of the film. And the studios have to deliver these materials. And so the Toho Studio delivered this to my desk, and I took it with me. There was no use for it. We had no use for it at Sci-Fi Channel. This isn't something that we would have put on air at the time. It's simply a poster. And so I had it up in my office for a while, and then when Mr. Nakajima was in town, I made sure that I had it autographed. But no, a tremendous loss for me personally, and I think for a lot of Godzilla fans. I don't know. Are we hearing from any viewers? Are we hearing from anybody out there about their thoughts on Godzilla? I can't think of. You don't have to be a Godzilla fan. Godzilla has touched everybody. It's touched all of us. I know it's touched you deeply, Brian, but because you're deeply touched. But
Deeply.
No, Godzilla is one of those things where you don't have to be a fan, but it's just part of the lexicon of life. It's part of the language of pop culture. And they continue to make Godzilla films to this day. So, yes, anybody else? We all grew up on it.
Oh yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think there's actually talk of an animated series coming.
Yeah, I think I've heard something about that, but it's like in a lot of other things. You hear about it, and then it goes away, and then it comes back. So you just don't know whether it's going to actually happen until it really does occur.
I hear you. But I was very lucky as a kid because I got to see a lot of the Godzilla films in the theater.
When I was saying,
like I said, I dragged my poor mother to see King Kong Escapes. I saw Godzilla versus Megalon. I went to see Destroy All Monsters. You know, it was just it was the thing to do. You know, because although the Godzilla marathons were pretty popular in northern New Jersey on stations like WOR and WPIX, it was not unusual to see many of the Godzilla films on television back in the day. But you were going to say, Brian?
I have to agree. You know, Godzilla touched my life when I was a child. My aunt took me to go see Godzilla 2000 in theaters, or not 2000, the one in 1998 with Matthew Broderick. And I gotta say, my life was dramatically changed after watching that movie.
Oh yeah, you don't want to see it again.
That was the day. That was the day you shit your pants in public and you had to be ushered out of the theater.
That was the day that I shit my pants in public, pretended I was King Kong fighting Godzilla by throwing my own feces at the screen.
Yes.
Yeah, that was that day.
A normal day.
This is baller day.
Doesn't surprise me in the least.
No, but you know, Godzilla. I may have not been a huge fan of Godzilla, but I love kaiju movies.
How can you not? What's not to love, Brian? Come on. How can you not love this shit?
Pacific Rim is probably the coolest modern monster movie that isn't a sequel to Godzilla or anything. It's basically the adult version of Power Rangers, besides Power Rangers.
Well, like Robot Jocks, if you remember that movie.
Oh, I remember Robot Jocks.
Well, but Brian, you make a really good point. You know, Pacific Rim. I thought it was a little soapy. The storyline, I thought it was a little soap opera-y. I didn't care too much for the plot, but the kaiju part of it was, it rocked out loud. But you made a very, very, very interesting point about Power Rangers and things like that.
Yes.
Kaiju and that style of performance continues on to this day. And it all started with Gojira in 1954. The suit weighed several hundred pounds. He was nearly killed a couple of times while wearing the costume. He's been set on fire. He nearly drowned.
He probably wasn't a very tall guy either.
He nearly drowned in one of the tanks. He's been set on fire. One of the flying jets went right into the mouth of the costume, of the Godzilla costume, and exploded and set the head on fire with him in it. Because you couldn't see jack shit, inside that thing. So it was very hazardous work. But to this day, shows like Power Rangers, you really couldn't do that style of performance. It's like traditional, like the way kabuki theater is only performed a certain way. Or shadow puppet theater is only performed a certain way, and kaiju is only performed a certain way. And you have a lot of hardcore fans that want Godzilla. They want their Godzilla to be kaiju style. They don't want it to be CGI. They don't want it to be computer generated.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. The Japanese Godzilla, I think it's called Shin Godzilla. It just came out like last year. That looked incredible. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't seen it. I don't know if you've seen it, but I heard it was way better than the one that we got here in the States.
Godzilla.
Yeah, I have not seen it, but
Godzilla.
It makes me laugh because now, as opposed to the so-called Godzilla film with Matthew Broderick, or the movie I like to call Ferris Bueller versus Godzilla. They try to make it look like a guy in a costume with the CG.
Yeah.
If you look at the Bryan Cranston film, they almost try to go for the kaiju look.
Yeah.
And very true of Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim did not get a lot of great reviews, and I gave it a lukewarm review when I worked for Screenbox. I liked it, but I didn't care for the plot line too much. But kaiju is alive and well, thankfully. And it's one of my favorite forms of filmmaking, and it's what inspired me to go into entertainment, was films like King Kong Escapes and King Kong versus Godzilla and the original Gojira.
Well, I know Godzilla tickles the shit out of your fancy. Go ahead, Jared.
I was just going to ask him, while we're on the topic of Godzilla, what did we think about the blue collar Godzilla, his red child Gamera, the big turtle.
Oh, Gamera, yeah, Gamera the turtle. Well, that was done by a rival studio. You know, that was just as, you know, the things never change, you know.
So it's kind of a trying to cash grab on Godzilla's popularity.
Exactly. You know, you know, everybody likes to think that, you know, the times that they live in, that all of the innovations are taking place right now. But no, it's simply, we're simply repeating history over and over and over again. Godzilla was enormously popular. And so Gamera was created by a rival studio. And Gamera very quickly went for a younger audience, went for a more more juvenile audience. Godzilla, the original Gojira, is a very, very, very serious film, and I recommend fans out there pick up the DVD collection that features the original Japanese language version of Gojira, without Raymond Burr, without any of that footage, because the original version references the bombings of Hiroshima, the bombings of Nagasaki, and the Raymond Burr version, of course, all of that reference is removed. And Raymond Burr was shot separately and then inserted into the film later. And the movie is basically a whitewash of the original Gojira. So I urge everybody to go out there and see the original version. It's a much darker movie. It's a much, much, much more serious movie, and a very different movie than the one with Raymond Burr. But yeah, you know, I'm just enormously saddened by the loss of Hiro Nakajima, and you know, hopefully more Godzilla films to come.
He stepped into a legacy that's still living today.
Yeah, it's like 60 years, over 60 years.
Yeah, he's had quite a few enemies too.
I mean, how many movie franchises have lasted this long? James Bond. You know, I mean, like I said, we could talk about franchises. We could talk about cinematic universes. Well, here's one of the strongest in my book, one of the most enduring. Godzilla easily going on 60 years. Then what else can you talk about? Maybe James Bond. Yeah. Right. When
James
was
Bond versus Godzilla?
When was Dr. No, Baron? Do you remember?
No, I'm sorry to say I don't really know a lot of James Bond movies, so
I want to say it was in the early 60s, though.
Yeah, I love James Bond. I love the early movies. I'm a big James Bond fan. I have them all. I got them all on DVD.
Dr. No came out in 62.
Yeah, 62. So Godzilla predates, and that's an enduring franchise. That's an enduring brand, cinematic brand.
Yeah, well, does Godzilla have Moonraker? I don't think so.
Godzilla in space.
Yes and no. I mean, they had Monster Zero. You know, they had the alien. They had Ghidorah.
Did Godzilla fight Oddjob? Probably not.
No, but he did fight Hedorah, the smog monster.
Well, Godzilla's had a lot of enemies.
Bring it!
He's had Mothra. He's had Mothra. He's had King Kong. He's had Mecha Godzilla, which is my all-time favorite. He fought Dr. Phil. He's just fought a lot of big monsters out there on the screen.
With a long list of Athlete's Foot, I believe, was another terrific battle.
Hey, he probably had a couple of bouts of that coming out of the water so much.
Yeah, a lot of fast acting, tenactin. You know,
what do you do? What do you do when you're underwater for that long? Do you have a couch to sit on? Like, I mean, like Godzilla. Like, what do you do? Do you hibernate? Are you the Cloverfield monster? Or I don't know what you do. Like, if you're Godzilla,
it's very funny. You know, Godzilla. If you go and you look at King Kong versus Godzilla, Godzilla is actually frozen in an iceberg.
Oh, okay.
In the movie, he emerges from an iceberg, helicopter shot, flying over this enormous iceberg, and the iceberg breaks open, and there's Godzilla inside. So he's been killed and brought back. He's killed in the original film with the oxygen destroyer.
He's like One Life to Live, or All My Children. He just keeps coming back no matter how many times you kill him or write him off the show.
That's actually not bad, Brian. Yes, that's a pretty good. You know, he's had twins and he's had siblings and offspring, and he's come back and he's been dead and he's come back. So Yeah, it's been very interesting. They've redone his origin a couple of times, but it's an enduring brand. It still works.
Well, as you were saying, Rizzo, that it's an enduring brand. Well, how about this little bit of trivia news there? When they had Kong, the Skull Island movie, somewhere around the end, near where the credits are rolling, there's a little of a scene of Godzilla's image is presented kind of a, I would say, cave-dwelling picture. So it's almost like they're thinking about bringing the Godzilla back with King Kong. So people saw that, and they also looked at that as where you had, it was very similar to where you had in the Predator series, Predator 2, I think it was, where we had the alien's head on their trophy wall. So that has been being now floated. And as for my personal, one of my favorite ones of the Godzilla series would be from, I think it was 71 or 72. Well, it was released here in the United States in 72, I suppose, under the Smog Monster, which was the Godzilla's version of the echo horror that was happening in the early 70s. So that was a Japanese version.
Hedorah the Smog Monster.
And that one actually had a lot. I think it was the, maybe 11th film in the series. And that had a lot of, you would always see the Smog Monster eating oil tankers, flying over people, dropping a smog disease down.
And he takes a big toke off the factory chimney tower, doesn't he?
Yeah, real big one. But yeah, so that was, I don't know, probably one of the first ones I really saw, and then I kind of started going back and forth and trying to figure out all the films that were there. So yeah, you know, the Godzilla films are popular, but what's also extremely popular is the collection of all the different versions of the Godzilla, and of course all of his enemies too. There's a huge subculture of people out there who are collecting them all, and they're always re-releasing new versions of them. I think there's one out now that's about, I don't know, 16 inches tall, and it's going for like $200. So it's like, you know, my God, how I have $200 on one of those things, but damn, okay. It just shows you the subculture for it. It's huge.
Yeah, it really is one of the first of the Japanese toys that really, you know, like spawned the whole idea of you have to have each one of them and things like that. But you know, the Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, or Godzilla versus Hedorah, is a great movie. I always liked Ghidorah, or King Ghidorah, or sometimes referenced as Monster Zero. You know, Godzilla versus Hedorah is very much an ecological movie. You know, it's an environmental film. It opens with this very, very, very sad song as the camera pans this polluted lake, and so it kind of beats you over the head with the message. And what I always liked about King Ghidorah, and what I always liked about that particular creature, is that when you look at it, it's not Japanese. Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. That's a Chinese dragon. That's not Japanese. That's a Chinese dragon. And the metaphor here was the encroachment of the Chinese government. You know, is really the story that's being told there. The Mao era, and this fear of the encroaching Chinese on Japanese culture. You know, those are the touches, and not a lot of people like to take the time to peel away the layers of Godzilla films. Sadly, people look down their nose at these movies, but you know, when you look at them, first of all, from a technical standpoint, they're a wonder to look at. The sets are just magnificent. But also, too, you know, they tell a very, very, very strong story. The original film, Gojira, is a metaphor for the bombing of Hiroshima. And again, I urge you to see the original Japanese language version, because it really does hit you over the head with the message of an atomic future, and the destruction that we can create, and the destruction that we can bring upon each other. And the Godzilla films, you know, some of them worked and some of them didn't. Some of them made their message very well and some of them did not. But those are my favorites. The ones that feature Monster Zero, the one that feature because he's seen as an alien from outer space. He's an outsider. He's an intruder, King Ghidorah, and Godzilla is there to protect his homeland. So I kind of dig that.
Yeah,
I get it, and I think it has a special place in the horror cinema. For people who like the monster movies, he's the king. I mean, he has the longest reign. So, yeah, King. No,
You're
King
the
Kong,
Duke. You're the number one.
Listen, yes.
Well, they made Kong really, really huge in Kong on Skull Island. They made him really huge because they plan on bringing Godzilla into the fight. And Godzilla, you know, if for scale reasons, if you look at Peter Jackson's film, Godzilla would step on, you know, King Kong and the film would be over because Godzilla is some 200 feet tall or some shit like that. 240 feet tall or something, some insane height like that. So Legendary Pictures deliberately made Kong. They you know, amped them up, and
they bulked them up and everything else
because they're building their way towards King Kong versus Godzilla. So
right.
Hopefully they'll do it right.
CGI movie.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think
we'll all still go watch it, but it'll be a disappointment possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, Brian.
That's great
on Godzilla.
Yeah, I know that you love. I know that you love Godzilla, and I know this was not having you for 3 weeks. I figured be the perfect time. Even though your hero is dead, I'm sorry about that, but it's a great time to have you back after 3 weeks to talk about Godzilla.
Yeah.
Because the movies are very infamous, and they spawned a whole legacy of kaiju movies. I cannot say that word without feeling
and
offended.
TV shows,
kaiju,
everything else.
Kaiju.
They used to have kaiju wrestling in downtown Manhattan. If you go on, I think there are videos posted on YouTube. Where fans, nutballs, ne'er-do-wells, and silly people put on costumes, created their own characters, and got into a ring and duked it out.
Well, they have
I would have loved to have
like
gone to that. I think I found out about it after the fact.
They have something similar to that, but they're dressed up as animals like foxes and wolves. They're called furries, except they don't fight each other. They just kind of have sex with each other in public.
No. This was like kaiju wrestling, and it took place.
Brian.
Brian's
showing us his weekend habits here, folks.
Yeah, Brian's in his monkey costume.
I go to furry orgies and I just fap my fucking brains out. That's what I do.
Oh, of course you do.
I fap so hard watching those furries.
As, some nice.
I fap so big that they call me the kaiju. All right, or the
it's Brian the Badger. Brian the Badger. There he is.
What are you talking about, Badger? He's a Harambe.
You know what? Yeah, I should start dressed up as like Harambe, but people would probably mistake me as a gorilla because Harambe died 2 years ago. He's not so much popular in the limelight today that he was when he was abruptly taken from us.
Well, why don't you put on some striped pants with suspenders, 2 cymbals, and you can sit there and bang the cymbals together and
monkey shines.
Monkey shines.
Like the fucking front cover of Monkey Shines.
The striped pants and yellow suspenders.
I have a question to Rayzilla before we move on to the next topic.
Sure. Yes.
Is the Daimajin trilogy considered kaiju?
Oh yes, those are wonderful movies, and I wonder if that's that could very well be Haro Nakajima as the title character. Those are wonderful movies, by the way. Good for you that you have them on what is that, Blu-ray?
Blu-ray. I've seen the first one. I loved it.
Aren't they terrific? He's this protector. The main character is this giant stone statue that is the protector of the land, and the statue not unlike the Golem, really.
Yeah, that's kind of the idea I got from it. He's a protector.
Yeah, not unlike the Golem, but again, Toho Studios. And great stuff. Highly recommended stuff. Kids at home, you should be writing this shit down, man. With pearls of wisdom coming out, dropping the knowledge. Jared, look at you with your bad self, dropping knowledge.
All right, so we're gonna wrap up the Godzilla discussion. Any last words on Godzilla from you fans out there or here at the Horror Syndicate? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
All right, well then, fuck you then. Let's move on to the next.
Well, fuck you right back there, mother.
All right, well, Godzilla, keep it real.
Keeping it real.
Hiro Nakajima, is that how I say the name?
Nakajima.
Hiro
Nakajima.
Rest in peace.
88 years old. Bless him.
That's a long time.
It's a good long run. Yep.
Yes, it is. All right. So on a lighter note, as Baron likes to call it, the Fourth Reich. We're gonna get into some of our favorite Nazi zombie movies. Movies such as Shockwaves, Dead Snow, and then Dead Snow 2, The Red Snow, or whatever it's called. It spawned a whole legacy.
Red versus
Don't
Dead.
eat the yellow snow. That's all you do, okay?
Red versus Dead. It spawned video games such as Sniper Elite, Zombie Trilogy, and of course the Call of Duty, World at War Zombies, and then Duty. And so we got the one of my favorite Nazi zombie movies of all time is Zombie Lake, and it's exactly what you think it is.
It is definitely a cash.
There's a lake and there's a zombie at the lake. Is that what it is?
It's naked women, and they go to this lake, and inside the lake are Nazi zombies. Now, the thing about Nazi zombies, okay, you have your Romero zombies, which just want to eat the flesh and they come back from the dead. You have your Russo O'Bannon zombies, which love to eat brains, and they talk and they run after you. It's very frightening. And then you have your Nazi zombies, which they don't want to eat you. They just want to kill you and dominate the world. It's very simple. I don't think a lot of the Nazi zombies really eat their victims. I think they just murder them brutally. Baron, you can back me up on this.
Yeah, this is a completely sub-genre. I mean, first of all, let's understand a couple of things. These films usually fall first under the exploitation market. Then you have the Nazi exploitation films, and then sub-drop into Nazi zombies. That's
So it's
the
a
weird
subgenre of a subgenre.
You got to
Right.
step down if you get to this
You gotta
place,
step
people.
down into the muck here, folks. I mean, you're just talking about films that are just really fucked up. Usually, you've got the mad scientist that somehow got left over from the Third Reich, wasn't captured, or is not working for the U.S. government.
Mengele's brother.
You basically have this person developing some sort of plan to bring back the Nazis so they can be this indestructible force to start killing again, because now they're zombies and they will just want to pledge allegiance to the Fuhrer or to Razil, whichever comes first. And they're out there doing everything they can to cause this. Now, for those who have followed the DOA, you do know that I did a review of one of these fucking movies. It was called Dead Walkers, The Rise of the Fourth Reich. A movie that, by the way, wouldn't make rise of anything. It couldn't rise itself out of, say, I don't know.
The gas chambers.
No,
Nice.
no, it deserves that. Although, if we were going to go that way, Brian, then you would probably want to not have a zombie film, and that would be Reichsfuhrer SS, which came out about 2 years ago. That's a film that is based off of a lot of real history. But back to the zombie, Nazi zombies. The movies are usually very cheesy, got a lot of gore and a lot of nudity. So Brian's always getting a Woody there, and he's very happy with that. And basically,
fat kaiju Woody.
Right, and basically, the Nazis do die in these films again, so that's always good. They should. Just to let people know, even if you watch these films, this has been a big misconception with people, and I want to make sure that we settle it right now. Just because you watch those movies does not mean that you support or you advocate for that. That's been a big misconception that's gone on a lot of times. I've seen a lot of articles on it. It does not mean that. It's just another form of a subgenre of exploitation that people enjoy watching. It's like nunploitation. When we watch the nuns getting a lesbian groove on over there, and meanwhile they're all some sort of, I don't know, worshiping the devil. So we can talk about that in another show. But yes, I wanted to make sure that people who are watching the Nazi exploitation of these zombie movies, it's not anywhere near some sort of hatred or something. It's just another form.
It's not like we're not glorifying that at all.
No, but I'm just making a point out there because I have seen the articles and I have read them. And I think a lot of people who have read these articles are misguided in their understanding of the subgenre.
Oh, what? Like they? Well, yeah. I mean, that's one person's opinion. It doesn't.
But I'm just throwing it out there.
Plot driven.
As a historian, I'm going to do that, and because I read all these articles out there. So
it's not like someone remade Schindler's List but they replaced the Nazis with Nazi zombies. That would be fucking terrifying. But I mean, it's not, it's not going to happen.
Imagine Ralph Fiennes is that? Oh God.
Yeah. You know, one of the more recent films, and I think it's a favorite of the Syndicate, is a movie called Frankenstein's Army.
Oh yeah.
Which is a wonderful, not necessarily zombie. I don't know what to call it. Biomechanical abominations, mad scientist gone wrong, kind of Frankensteinian mad scientist gone wrong kind of thing. There's also a movie called Panzer Chocolate, which I brought up to the guys in the Syndicate earlier. Panzer Chocolate. Never heard of. Yeah, Panzer Chocolate is another one. It's a film I saw at the American Film Market many years ago, easily 4 or 5 years ago, possibly more. And during World War II, soldiers, on either side, whether you were the Allies or whether you were the Axis powers, you all received rations. You all received, food as you went out into the field. And the Nazi soldiers received something called Panzer Chocolate, which was considered a very, very, very high grade, high quality chocolate. And in the plot of the film, the chocolate has been cursed, and with the intent of bringing about the Fourth Reich, and so it's a tried and true genre. I mean, even just the notion of anything Nazi related is definitely a turn off for a lot of folks. But these, we're talking about fantasy films here. We're talking about zombie movies here. We're talking about monster movies here that are using World War II as a backdrop or as a character in the film.
It's not like Sophie's Choice versus The Living Dead.
Well, no one's making a bold statement here. These are monster movies, for fuck's sake.
Right. And I agree with that. But again, I had to throw it out there just because, here at the Syndicate, we talk about everything that's in horror, and that is something that people have brought up. But I wanted to throw it out there early so we can dismiss such nonsense as that some people have out there. Mm-hmm. I mean, Dead Snow movies are pretty cool movies to watch. There's a bit of a comical lines in the films at times. It's very weird, and yet look, let's face it, you got snow on the ground and you got blood everywhere. It's just an interesting new, means to create everything in your dreamland there, going, look, there's red snow now. Again, still don't eat the yellow snow. Now, yeah, well, a lot of these Nazi horror zombie flicks are pretty bad. I will warn you of one you don't need to see. It's called Zombie Isle. It came out from the people who make a lot of crap, from the Chemical Burn Entertainment Company out there, and you really don't need
to see of the men who make a lot of crap.
Yeah. Let's face it, folks. It'll be on the DOA list sometime. Right now, it's only ranked at a 2.8. It'll eventually get down there. So, yeah, it's a really bad movie. But again, you have your Nazi doctor trying to resurrect there, all for his loyal Führer, I guess, or whatever. And the Zombie Lake is a good one to watch. One that you guys can find on YouTube, and it's free to watch. It's called The Frozen Dead.
Herb Leader's film. Yeah. Herb Leader was my professor my first year of film school in Jersey City.
That movie turns 50 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. 1967.
He also directed It with Roddy McDowall.
Yep.
Which is kind of a Gollum film. But he Baron, this is a hand to God. He was my first film and television instructor in Jersey City. Back in the day. Good 30 years ago, easily.
Yeah, so he did Frozen Dead, which again is available for free. Good print of it on YouTube. You guys just have to type in the Frozen Dead, and it'll just pop up real easy for y'all to watch that. So yeah, it's interesting with his career since he did the Frozen Dead, and of course he also did the film It, and that's with an exclamation point. It has no relation to the one that's coming out. The one that came out in the 90s and the new one. It has nothing to do with that. But it's interesting because that takes the other flip side of the coin with the Gollum, which is again plays into the World War II themes and such and all that. It plays into that. It's always an interesting folktale type of story that's told. So it's always interesting.
It's fun. The whole Nazi thing is fun to play with from a creative angle. One of my favorite movies is The Boys from Brazil. Where they're basically Gregory Peck is cloning Hitler, and they've done it, and it's the kid, and they're making sure that he grows up to growing up Hitler, That's a chilling film.
Yeah, but there's an estimated about 50 Nazi zombie flicks out there, so it is a very large subgenre in the subgenre, if I should say that. So people to check it out.
Subgenre of a subgenre.
Yes. Because these films also cross in, as Rezo has mentioned, into the occultism also. So there's that too.
Sure, Hellboy has a Nazi angle to it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
and black magic and the occult and all of that, sure. And Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I mean, it's a trope. It's a device. It's a trope that's been used over and over and over again.
One of my favorite Nazi zombie movies is Shockwaves, and there's only like 3 key moments of Shockwaves that I remember growing up. There was Peter Cushing, who I don't know why he signed up for this, but he's in it, and he cannot take it back, especially now since he's been dead for a long time.
Really? Gee.
There were the zombies, of course, with the goggles. They popped out of the water. They didn't eat their victims. Let's get this straight. Nazi zombies don't usually eat their victims. They strangle them to death or beat them to death. And then there's the third moment, which I remember about Shockwaves, is the end, where it's got a very Friday the 13th type of ending, except for the twist. It's one of those endings that is generally an ending that makes up for fucking an hour and 45 minutes that you wasted on the movie, because the girl wakes up after being drugged in the water. She's in a hospital bed, and she's writing her whole story down on a piece of on this notepad, and you find out that she's just scribbling. So that's that's the ending. Is like no one knows what the fuck she's writing. She's probably got brain damage or something, or she's like, you know, psyched out of that. You know, her entire friendships were killed by these Marco Polo playing Nazi zombies, and she just can't write anymore, and she just scribbles. So it was like a very scary ending, spooky ending. It gave me chills, it's just one of those movies where you can watch it once and say that you've watched it.
Was that down at the lake, the zombie lake, where they played Marco Polo?
This was Shockwaves.
Oh.
I was talking about
they came out of the ocean, not just the lake.
And Shockwaves recently got a new release.
Motherfuckers.
Yes.
Shockwaves got a new release on the Blue Underground distribution. Yep. The original negatives were found, so that has gotten a new release done to it.
Yes, it did.
Hey.
Jared, pull that up again. See, Jared's on top of it. We all met together at a DVD collector page on Facebook, and I thought I could keep up with these guys, especially Ray and Jared.
Jared's dropping it tonight.
And I just can't. Jared's collection is massive.
Dropping the knowledge.
Like my
you can't see it behind me, but I got a lot of shit. I keep it out of focus.
For tax purposes, people, he writes it. Yeah. He writes it all off for the reviews, and the government's been calling.
I write the reviews for charity purposes.
Yes. There you go. They've been to his place of business a few times, I'm told.
Jared, what's your favorite Nazi zombie movie?
I'd probably lean towards what Ray Zilla was saying. Probably Frankenstein's Army, even though it's kind of quasi-zombie, but it's more robotic, manipulating human flesh. But they're still Nazi zombies. That I will tell you, I wrote a review for that movie like about a year ago for the Horror Syndicate, and that was one of the first movies in a long time that actually kind of grabbed me. Like, it's a point of view film, so it moves around a dark corner, and then you see something that you've never fucking seen before in your life, and it just every time you go around another corner, you see a different zombot. Is that what they call them, Ray? Zombots?
I believe so. The zombots, yeah.
It's just that
great
movie
stuff.
Really. It was very low budget, but it was very, very, very effective.
It was well shot. It was really, really, really well shot. Really well made for the budget. And yeah, I wanted the toys. I wanted the video game. I wanted the action figures. I wanted, but I don't know. I don't believe that there's any sort of follow-up. I haven't really kept up with the director at all. But it's a fun picture, kids. Frankenstein's Army. You should definitely check it out. I love Dead Snow as well.
That was fun.
Yeah, Dead Snow's a fun picture. The whole Nazi zombie thing. Because of the whole belief that the Nazis were dabbling in the occult, and I have no clue if it's real or not. But that kind of fuels and then lends itself to this form of storytelling. The cool thing about Panzer Chocolate, guys, when I went to see it, the cool thing about the film is that the movie had an app. All right. When I went to the screening, one of the kids stopped me and they scanned my badge. And the kid said to me, "Do you have the app?" And I said, "No, I don't have any. What app? I don't have any sort of app." Right. Well, then I go into the screening room and I sit down and the movie begins. And the movie opens with this young woman. And she comes on the screen and she says, "Turn your devices on now." And the people sitting in the screening room with me had a couple had a tablet in front of them. A few people turned on their phones and they opened the app. and she said that you will be able to follow the plot, and you'll be able to read documents and see certain things during the course of the film. So enjoy Panzer Chocolate. And I thought that that was a very, very, very fascinating way of addressing what is becoming a cultural problem with movie going, is that, you know, when you get into the theater, you're told, shh, turn your devices off, shh, you know, and there's always going to be someone in the theater that's going to ignore that, and they're going to have their phone on, and they're going to be texting or whatever. And here was a movie that actually asked the audience to lean into that. So I was really, really, really intrigued very, very early on that the idea behind this movie was to turn your device on. So anyway, you're watching the film and you have your phone with you and you're watching the movie. And there's a portion of the film where a woman is walking down a long corridor, and there's something in the corridor, and it's pitch black. She can't see a thing. And so all she has is a camera. And so she's using the flash of the camera to light the hallway. Well, as she's taking the pictures in the movie, you start to get her photos on your phone. Your phone vibrates. You see, you activate the app when the girl tells you to in the beginning of the film, right? So as your phone is turned on, as the young lady, as the character is walking down the hallway, she's taking photographs so she can light her way, and your phone is picking up the pictures. Okay, so as you, I'm sorry?
I was going to say, in a way, it's like almost like breaking the fourth wall of acting. In a way, it's interactive.
Oh, it gets better. Oh, it gets better. It gets better. So you know, the first picture, it's just the hallway. Second picture, it's just the hallway. Third picture, blah, it's the guy. You know, coming at you. It's the Nazi. You know, coming after you. It's the killer in the film. There's all sorts of, you know, scenes, and you don't have to look at your device the whole time. After something happens in the film, the screen goes into like a sleep mode, and it gives you a warning as to when something is going to happen. So your phone vibrates and an image comes up, and it has a little bit of a countdown, and then they find a letter in the film, and you receive the letter over your phone. You receive the document through your phone as you're watching the movie. And then I don't want to give away too much of the ending, but the ending of the movie, there's a final girl, and well, she actually calls your phone at the end of the movie. Your phone rings, and when you answer it, it's her on the other line going, "You got to come save me. You have to help me, please. Please, he's right outside. You have to come. He's right outside. You have to come get me." And it's really quite effective. It really, really, really blew my mind. I enjoyed the movie, and I enjoyed this whole idea of, as opposed to telling people to turn their phones off, here was a horror film that was leaning into it and telling you, no, turn your device on. You're going to do it anyway. Now, how did the technology work? All right, here's how the technology worked, because we actually played with something like this over at Sci-Fi Channel back in the day. When you activate the app on your phone, audio cues from the film are picked up by the microphone in your phone. And it's that simple. So as the app is listening, the app hears the audio cues from the soundtrack of the movie, and it activates the app, and you get all of the stuff. You get all of the supplemental material. And again, it's wonderfully clever. It's pretty simple. And it was a pretty unique experience. And I really don't know what became of the movie. And I don't know if the app was ever released. Maybe somebody watching can maybe do a little research while we're discussing it. The movie is listed in the IMDb. Panzer Chocolate is the name of the movie. It's a rarely seen monster, Nazi monster zombie type flick. No one? Bueller?
It does sound kind of interesting. Yeah,
Bueller?
I
No one?
had not heard anything of it when you mentioned it today, but it does sound kind of an
Yeah, me
interesting way to get the audience involved in the film.
Yeah, I thought it was a really terrific experience. I enjoyed it. And again, I saw it at the American Film Market. It was either in 2011. I saw it at the American Film Market. I either saw it in 2011 or 2012 was when I went to see it. I don't believe that I saw it any later than that. Really. But a fun movie.
It did get released by SP Distribution in 2016, USA in all media forms. So it is out there and available for people to find and locate.
But I wonder if the app is also, if you go to like the App Store, the Apple App Store, and look up Panza Chocolate, if it's there.
I don't know that.
Because you need the app. It's a pisser. It really is amazing, especially the phone call at the end. She calls your fucking phone, man. Your phone rings. It's amazing.
That it seems like it would be more effective when you're at home viewing the movie instead of like, 100 people is sitting in a theater and they're all their phones ring. But
yes, I saw it with maybe 15 people, a dozen people. That was about it. It was in a very small screening room at the American Film Market in Santa Monica, California, where I got to see a lot of great stuff before months and months and months, sometimes years before they were released, because the movies were being offered for sale. So I would go see them, and sometimes I would buy them, and sometimes I would not. So
now, that particular film, Razilla, is while it does have that title, was released under the title just Panzer. So
how about that?
They changed the title. The artwork looks interesting. Looks like a kind of almost a piggish looking fellow on the cover. And
right.
So, but for the official site, it's a Spanish site since the film was made in Spain, but was done in English.
Right.
So, didn't really click the link too much just because I'm a little afraid to hit a link while on the show here. What the hell?
Get knocked off. But yeah, that's like I said, it's a rarely seen. And again, kids, you should be writing these movies down. If you're listening, if you're watching, if you're threatening your children at the moment, stop. Grab a piece of paper.
That's a good thing to do, right?
Stop whatever you're doing. Grab a piece of paper and start writing this shit down. God damn it, because I could forget it all by tomorrow. I'm under a lot of stress.
Razilla, the site has now officially come up, and I've translated it into English. The Panzer movie app is available at the Google Play Store.
There you go, folks. Ooh. Go get it. It's an interesting experience. It like I said, we are being trained or being yelled at to turn our devices off when you go to the movie theater. What's that stupid promo that they run? Shh. Devices off, when you go to the movie theater. And yet, most people comply, but some people don't. Well, here's a movie that asks you to lean into it, and turn your device on. And that just grabbed me immediately. Just the fact that was the whole idea. They had me right away.
Okay, the app is called Panzer Movie. I don't know if it's a free download. You may have to pay for it, but there is an actual app called it, so you can find it.
Find it on Google.
Yep, I think it's maybe 99 cents the app. But if you buy the movie, you might as well get the app.
Yeah, you have to have one with the other. You really do. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
So if you're buying the movie for whatever price it was, what's another 99 cents? So
right. So Brian is back from hurling feces at his neighbors. Brian, tell us.
What's your views?
What's your worldview on the whole Nazi monster zombie thing?
I think it's coming from a Jewish background. I think it's a lot of fun, even though Nazis are terrible to almost every Jewish person I know. It's like even comes to the point where they don't even want to bring it up in conversations. Well, I think that being such an avid horror fan, that we need Nazi zombies in our life. It's a huge topic. Call of Duty has been doing very successfully off of the fact that they introduced Nazi zombies in the video games. And
thank you for bringing that up, because I love playing that, by the way. I'm a lousy shot. I'm a lousy shot. I'm a shitty shot, but thank you for bringing that up, because that is another zombie, Nazi zombie kind of thing, and I love playing it.
Well, they also have Sniper Elite, which is it's not as quick as Call of Duty. It's a third-person shooter where you hunt Nazis, and they have a Nazi zombie trilogy. And of course, you have video games before that inspired like the Nazi mutants, kind of like Frankenstein's Army. You have Castle of Wolfenstein, and the video games that has they've all been inspired, guarantee you, by movies by like Shockwaves and Zombie Lake, and I think yeah, I mean, do you remember fighting Hitler back in the old Windows? What was it, Windows 95?
Yes, same time Doom came out, but there's actually 2 new Wolfenstein games on the PS4 that are a lot of fun too.
I heard. I wanted to play them, but you know me, I've been playing Friday the 13th like a motherfucking boss. It's like a whole conversation right there.
There's another kind of a Nazi zombie movie that really sticks out in my mind recently. It's from 2009, and Baron brought it up in our podcast chat. It's called Blood Creek.
Yeah,
I watched it a few years ago, and it's actually got some decent actors in it. It has Superman, Henry Cavill, and Michael Fassbender.
Now, is that Joel Schumacher?
Yeah, Joel Schumacher directed it. Yep.
Okay.
And it's about these 2 brothers that live on a farm, and they come across a neighbor, and apparently he's some kind of like old Nazi war criminal that's still alive, not really alive, kind of immortal zombie guy. And it's actually a really fucking good movie.
Gee, I thought Joel Schumacher wasn't allowed to direct anymore after the last Batman movie.
Well, he can, but
they let him back in. They let him back in. Is that what happened?
Yeah, he can, but all the heroes and villains have to wear suits with nipples on them.
Yeah, because I mean, boy, man, those movies. Whew, I didn't like either one he did. But this is called Blood Creek. I've never seen it.
Yeah, and it's got Dominic Purcell from what's that? Prison Break. He's also in it.
Yeah, it's basically a film dealing with obviously the Nazis, but an occult experiment dating back to the Third Reich, and kind of a revenge mission. But it's got a good story to it. So I would say middle of the road type of film. It's not going to break new ground or anything, but at the same time, you can go really a lot worse really quick. And the film, I have seen it a few times, and it is at least an entertaining film, put it that way.
Yeah. I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, I want to see that.
Yeah. But you know what? Apart from Nazi zombies, one of my favorite, it's not really a horror, it's more science fiction. But it's really underrated. Everyone hates it. I don't know why they hate it, but I love this movie called Iron Sky. It's about Nazis who went to the dark side of the moon after World War II, and they started a colony in space. It's a phenomenal fucking movie. Jared is really pumped up about that.
I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fucking fan of that movie.
Yeah?
I actually bought
not bad.
Indiegogo for the sequel, or I I'm going to be a producer whenever they film it.
They
Producer.
actually, I think they played Eclipse from or I forget what song did they play from Dark Side of the Moon. Like it's during the big giant space battle. They played a snippet from Dark Side of the Moon as they're getting ready to go into space and fight. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's like a 15-minute snippet, but you know, it does play homage to Pink Floyd. It's a pretty fun movie if you like sci-fi.
Isn't it Udo Kier?
Yeah, Udo Kier is in it.
Yeah, Udo Kier's in it.
And they speak
it's like
German.
It's like they never
It's
knew
subtitled.
anything different. They still think they run the world.
Right, so here's, I'll tell you a story about that movie. That movie was submitted to me over at Sci-Fi to air on Sci-Fi Channel, and I actually watched it. I screened it with another executive, and if memory serves me correct, I do believe at least the first 8, maybe 10 minutes is all spoken in German with subtitles.
Yes.
And as much as we enjoyed the movie, the track record of subtitled films on Sci-Fi was the kiss of death, and I don't, people, I used to get hate mail. Why don't you show this? Why don't you show that? How come you don't show this? How come you don't show that? And gang, it was all your fault. The reason we didn't show subtitled movies was because you wouldn't watch them. We tried.
Hate mail at Sci-Fi.
We showed them. Oh, we get shitload. We get angry phone calls. Angry phone calls at Sci-Fi Channel. So
I think a movie like Iron Sky would do way better than Sharknado.
Yeah, you guys got 5 fucking Sharknado movies.
Guys, if words appeared at the bottom of the screen, nobody fucking watched it.
Well, maybe the Sharks need to have their own fucking.
And it was not from a lack of trying. It was not from a lack of trying, because I fucking tried. I tried. Even silent cinema, if it was in black and white or if it had subtitles, it tanked. And that's that. And I can't put a gun to people's heads and make them watch.
Yeah, you can.
I can't do that.
You
can't do that.
Can. You can.
And so anyway, so long story short, I'm sitting there with this other executive, and we're watching Iron Sky, and easily the first 8 to 10 minutes are subtitled. We watched the film, we enjoyed it, but we both agreed that people are going to tune the fuck out the second they see this movie, because they did, because we had proof that they did, So people always want to say, "How come you don't show this?" We tried everything. Anime, we could never get ratings with anime. And we showed it all the time. We budgeted for it. We spent money on it. People wouldn't fucking watch it. And then we would get letters. Why don't you show more anime? Bite me. We fucking tried.
Yeah.
But yeah, Iron Sky hit my desk. And it's not that we didn't enjoy the movie, but yeah, those first 8 to 10 minutes are pretty brutal.
Shame. You gotta,
that's a true story.
You guys made Sharknado, and well, here's the thing. Iron Sky didn't do very well commercially, and I think a lot of people who've seen the movie said it was a poorly executed movie, that it sucked, that it was lame, it wasn't cool, it was not fun to watch. And I'm just like, what the fuck? Are these monkeys in a cage reviewing this movie? I mean, the movie is pretty smart and it's fun.
Oh yeah.
It's not something that, anyone with an IQ of 75 or lower would probably take interest in. That's why we have sharks in a tornado. But it's just it's the kind of movie where it's just very intelligent. And
Sharknado 5 did very well, by the way. I think it did pretty well.
Yeah, because people fucking watch it. And
Yeah.
people are like, "Oh my god, I saw it. Why do they keep making these movies?"
And
It's
they
because
say,
you
well,
fucking watched it.
Thank you. That's exactly the answer, Brian. It's because people fucking watch it. I don't want to hear, I used to catch so much shit from people. Why is there so much, why are there 9 different CSIs, and why is there, this Miami Chicago Hope, Chicago Med, Chicago Fire? Why? Because you fucking watch it. That's why.
Okay. All right. Wait, I'm going to settle this all.
That's why this shit happened. That's why they put it on. Because if you didn't watch it, it wouldn't be on the air.
Yeah.
If you don't watch it, it goes away.
Okay.
That's it,
Raise it
kids.
Go ahead, Baron.
Okay. So since Brian's talking about sharks and we're talking about the Nazi zombies and all that, it's only right that we do speak about Sky Sharks that's going to be released in September. That's right. Baron has some information for y'all. Here's the plot. Let's have a little fun with it. Deep in the ice of the Antarctica, a team of geologists uncover an old Nazi laboratory. Intact, they find dark experiments that had occurred in order to conquer the world. The Nazis created modified sharks that are able to fly. But wait, there's more! And those who are going to ride on them, well, those are genetically mutated undead superhumans. The military task force called Dead Flesh 4, which is reanimated U.S. soldiers who fell in Vietnam. Oh, it's going to be a good kind of movie. You're going to all want to watch
Universal Soldier.
Huh? Yeah, look,
sounds like Universal Soldier.
Oh, there you go. But it's your kind of movie, folks. Sky Sharks, Sharks, and Nazi Undead. There you go. You can't get anything better.
I think the audience always benefits when screenwriters take hallucinogenics.
There you go. I have that one. I have the sealed. I have the tin.
Steelbook.
What is that? Iron Sky. Nicely. Boy, Jared's got, and
now,
the creepy part is we never see where Jared pulls these things out from. That's the part that
he's been sitting it next to him since we first started Horror Syndicate.
I don't know if he's got like little elves. He's got magical elves that just hand him the discs that we can't see out of the frame of the camera, or if it's something that he's able to stretch his arms beyond normal lengths, grab these things.
Stretch Armstrong.
All right. So as we wrap up about our talk about Nazi zombies, anyone have any final words about the Nazi zombie genre?
I hate Nazi zombies. What's the line from the Blues Brothers? I hate Illinois Nazis. Well, they're fun. Mel Brooks said they're fun to make fun. They're easy to make fun of.
Mm-hmm.
Like Klansmen.
Yeah, Hitler
easy to
on
make
ice.
fun of.
Okay, so that brings a great point. Have there been a movie about zombie Klansmen yet? Or maybe that's already what they are. Oh well.
Ooh, zombie Klansmen.
It's the fourth right.
I don't know. That practically writes itself, doesn't it?
I'm sorry, we were going down the road there. Yeah. I said, "Oh, what's that?"
Wow.
Yeah. It just won't
I'm
be
gonna be up all night now.
I'm sure
be up all night cooking up that one.
I'm sure that Nazi furries will be around soon, and in that case, watch out.
Oh yeah, because you'll be dressed as Harambe. Got it.
I'll be dressed as Harambe.
All right, wait a minute, Baron. I have a title.
Yes,
I have a title. Z Clan.
There you go.
There you go.
They're already brain dead, so why not go a little bit further?
Awesome.
Give me till midnight. I'll have a synopsis. I'll tell you.
Right. I'd like to have it tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, awesome. So before we wrap up, I just want to do a little bit of a convention news. Monster Mania is next weekend here in New Jersey at the Crown Plaza Hotel in Cherry Hill. Let's just take a look at the guest list of those who are going to be attending. So here we go. We got Monster Mania. We got Kate Beckinsale. I don't think she's going to. I think she canceled. I'm not sure. Can you guys see this?
You know, I could have
can
sworn
see it.
I heard she canceled, but she's still up on the website.
I know. We got Val Kilmer, who I'm very excited about seeing, but I'm not going to be there. We have Daphne Zuniga from Spaceballs and The Fly
Spaceballs!
2. Jennifer Carpenter from a few things. We got Chris Kattan. He was Gorky Romano and still relevant. We got Fairuza Balk from The Craft. C. Thomas Howell from E.T. We got Noah Snap from Stranger Things.
Oh, C. Thomas Howell's been in more than just E.T. He was in The Outsiders. My God, one of the great.
Stay gold, Pony Boy.
Yeah, geez, go see C. Thomas Howell,
who played shortstop in
Short Round.
Short Round. No, I keep saying short stuff. Short Round and Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, which Steven Spielberg said was his worst movie. We got Pollyanna McIntosh. We got Jeffrey Combs is going to be there. If any Reanimator fans
my friend. Go say hello to my friend Jeffrey Combs.
We got Ethan Embry. We got Zach Galligan from Gremlins. Alison Lohman from Drag Me to Hell.
Waxworks films. PJ Souls. Yum.
We got Derek Mears, who played Jason in the 2009 version of Friday the 13th. And we got PJ Souls, who was in Halloween. And, of course, we got our Firefly crew, Bill Moseley and Sid Haig. And then we have Tom Morga.
Tom Morga?
Yep. And Steve Dash, who will be and, of course, Burt Young is his first Monster Mania appearance.
Burt Young, you got to be kidding me. He's got to be like 112.
I was going to say, he's got to be old.
Burt Young?
Yes, he's going to be there dressed as Harambe. I
could have been a contender, Rock.
Danielle Harris, I believe Danielle Harris will be there. She will not be at New
Jersey.
HorrorCon, New Jersey. We got Seth Gilliam, and we got the Saska sisters who are going to be there.
Very cool.
We have
Anthrax.
Yep, they're going to be there.
Seriously?
Signing names. Yep, and then we got a special photo ops with Steve Dash and Robert Brian Wilson, who was in Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yes,
and then of course we have Sunday afternoon where they have a celebrity auction to save Yorkies. So you can auction for a Yorkie and take home a lovable Yorkie that day here at Monster Mania.
And Brian, how long to cook?
How long to cook? About 15 to 20 minutes.
Each Yorkie, or is that all of them in one pot?
Is that like 400 degrees or what? I need to write this
down.
It
all depends on how long you leave them in the car.
Use a brine
in the car for a while.
Nice and tenderizing. Of course, you want to skin it first.
Yeah.
And what do you pair that with? What do you serve that with, Brian?
I was thinking chicken bouillon would cook with.
Yeah. You pair that with cat. You can get cat from your local Chinese takeout.
If you're interested, little desserts and chocolate-covered grasshoppers will always do well.
Yes.
No, that looks like a cool convention. Where's that?
Gut that dog right up. You'll be fine.
That's going to be at that
con again?
That's going to be at. That is Monster Mania at the
Cherry Hill.
Yeah, Cherry Hill Crown Plaza.
Well, that's not that far of a schlep from me.
Nope.
It's not that far. It's a bigger schlep for you, right?
No, it's only like 15 minutes from my house.
It's 15 minutes from Cherry Hill?
Yeah. You're from North Jersey. I'm from South Jersey. I'm like 20 minutes from Philadelphia.
Oh, I see. No, I always thought that Cherry Hill was a little closer than that.
Well, Cherry Hill's closer to me. I don't know if it's closer to you. You're from North Jersey, right?
I'm off exit 18E.
Okay.
That's all.
The viewers.
That's all the way at the end of the turnpike.
The viewers need a direct address from you, Ray. So I mean, stay whatever exit. They need a direct address, and your social security, followed by your credit card number.
Well, that's 95 Kiss My Ass Avenue.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. My name is Brian Enright. You can follow me on Facebook at Brian Enright, or here at the Horror Jew on Instagram and Twitter. Baron, where can we find you?
Well, usually at most morgues and cemeteries. But hey, follow me on Twitter under Baron_Craze. And also continue to stalk me on Facebook under Baron Craze in the Baron's Crypt. Oh, if you do that, I don't mind. I'll stalk you back. I enjoy that.
Thanks very much, Baron. Up next, we have Jared Letourneau. Jared, where can we find you?
You guys can follow me on the face space at Jared Letourneau, or if you want to follow me on the Twatverse, zombie_survivor. It was fun talking. Welcome back, Rayzilla. We missed you.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
And last but not least, we have our Uncle Rayzilla. Tell me where you're from. Straight out of Compton.
Well, well, you know, Brian, most Tuesday nights you can find me teaching you how to make pizza down at St. Mickey's Knights of Columbus here in Lodi, New Jersey.
Throw it on top of it.
Right. If you, if you kids at home, and if you are at home, you're lucky. But you kids at home, please, if you want to look at my stupid Facebook page, there's the name right there. And if you would like to follow me on Twitter, it's at RayzillaNJ. Thank you, Brian.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. And everyone have a great rest of the week. Here at the Horror Syndicate, we have our additional show with the Horror Syndicate featuring Razor, myself, and Jared. And you can also check out Blog Talk Radio at 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. on check out the Baron's Crypt. So thank you very much, everyone.
Go watch some Godzilla.
And go watch some Gajira. All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Oh.